Okay, go.
Good evening, Danvers. I'm Mark Zuberek. Welcome to the Topics of the Town News, March 20th, 2024. How
Start the
time
clock.
flies. Today I have my standard guest, Tony Betancourt, and he's been very helpful in addressing some of our issues. And today we have a special guest, Jim Morose.
Howdy,
And
folks.
welcome, gentlemen, for another hour of entertainment. And what we try to do is bring forth the information and news that's happening in the town of Danvers
Before we lose our town.
before we lose our town. But the thing is that we need to
No, go ahead.
put it on the air so our residents and our voters have an opportunity to digest and then act on our recommendations. The agenda and opinions are solely by the topics of the town host, guests, contributors, and commentators. Our leaders would like to have us believe that everything we need to know is on the town website. Well, you only find out what they want you to know.
That's for
And
sure.
that has proven over and over. And I'm going to take my glasses off because I can't see with the things on. So, that's why I make the print so large on our
I
outline.
don't blame you.
My quote for the day continues with what I started
No, go ahead.
2 or
You
3
keep
weeks
talking.
ago. Unthinking respect for authority is the greatest enemy of truth. That really means that if you do not understand the authority that you're listening to, means that you don't understand the truth. So I selected a couple of more here, but I will only use one. And this really pertains to the upcoming elections of our town. To be a good leader, you have to be a great listener. No one has a monopoly on good ideas or good advice. That was a quote by Richard Branson. And I've used this in the past with the government show that we did, but this really applies to our current Board of Selectmen, school committee, and our town meeting members. They don't listen. These references are picked for the upcoming town elections. These references are directly related to our Board of Selectmen, incumbents, and candidates. Now, hopefully the new candidates have an ear open so they can hear the voices of our voters. So, today what I want to do is address a couple of items in regard to the budget, but first and foremost, I cannot resist the trash tax debate.
You mean the Trask?
The trash tax debate.
Right.
See, it says trash here, but I meant trash.
Okay, just
And
checking.
I
I think he's the one to put it in, honestly.
Gardner, it was a honest mistake, but I don't think it's a mistake. You've been performing your tax increases every time you get a chance. Do we need a referendum to eliminate this trash tax? Or do we need to change the Board of Selectmen? And the thing is that the Board of Selectmen allowed this issue to get out of control, and it was placed on the warrant where it was asked to be put on for a special town meeting, but what they did is they buried it in with their standard regulation and zoning issues that they have been planning for months.
I still don't know what was illegal about it. They even asked yesterday. I don't think we got an answer yet. Something about the writing. That's all I heard. Is that
Well,
true?
there's nothing illegal about it except that the legal counsel for our infamous town manager.
And we heard he works for the town. He doesn't work
and
for
he
the
gets
people,
paid
even though.
by the town. Doesn't mean he works for the town.
Yeah, he gets paid by the taxpayers.
Well, okay, so, I mean, that's his opinion, so they did just take his opinion. So we need a lawyer or someone that's gonna look at it for our side. Like, take, for example, there's an amendment on the Massachusetts Constitution, I think it's number 28 or it's 18 or something, and it says, you got the home rule petition, each city and town is like its own sovereign city or town, just like each state is sovereign. So that's where this home rule comes in. We should be able to do our home rule. But you need to point that out. And then there's there was a few other things I have forgotten, but basically we just need a lawyer to point these things out because, we don't have to obey, we can override the state stuff with our vote. We don't have to.
But you know what's
Well,
sad?
Our town seal says the king unwilling. So the governor and the Beacon Hill, if they're unwilling to listen to it, we should be able to vote, but we can't vote apparently.
You know what's sad here, though? You know what's sad, though, too, on top of this? What's sad on top of this is if you went out and hired a lawyer, you'd have to sue the town. How's that make any sense? If you win, you're going to get all your money back and everything else, but it doesn't make sense, man. We're all supposed to work together.
The only time the town hall, the White House, listens is when they get sued.
Well, that's
And
true.
they
That I
get
know for a fact.
Sued for activities that have damaged residents or somehow have violated laws.
But that's not the best interest of the town. That's the problem.
Well, so I mean, to your point, Mark, you were talking about the trash debate, and we had the zoning debate too. So that's people are highly concerned when they see a 4-story building come up out of nowhere and go, what the heck is this? The town thinks that everyone nobody knows. They were surprised. They had no idea we passed zoning 3 years ago to do this, and then we had to update it because it didn't really meet the state law, so we could get our money. Okay, and so that's one thing. And I guess someone's putting in a building permit to make Murphy's, that block, the Murphy block, where the Murphy's Fruit Market used to be. That's going to be kind of looking like the corner of Hobart and Maple. This will be the M Street and whatever street that is. So, it's just, and then it will be marching right down High Street too. So if you like the progress, keep voting in the leaders you got. If you don't, then you're gonna have to vote for someone new.
Well,
That's all I can say.
Jim, one thing I like to point out is we can resist, but look what's happening to the town of Milton. They're getting sued by the state because they are in violation of the MBTA laws that our infamous legislators, Sally Kearns and Joan Lovely, participated in and passed to increase the housing stock. Why don't they reduce the taxes and they will increase the housing stock? But no, that's not what they want to do. They just want to impose their will on the residents of every single city and town. And in this case, every single city and town that has MBTA ridership. And we in Danvers do not have any.
Well, there's a couple other communities that are fighting it right now. Haven't accepted it yet. Another thing I noticed yesterday during the Selectmen Board meeting, okay, did you notice that they lie to us and then they cover it up? It's stupid, okay? Did you see how they told us? They told us if that didn't pass, we wouldn't be able to get all kinds of money. Now they told us that's not true. Even though we passed, we might not get the money.
We're not going to get any money
I mean,
because
they lied to us. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't understand this.
Well,
it's like any government. It's a stick and a carrot. If you do this, we might give you this money, but you know what? Now we have to read the verdict because we have all these illegal immigrants.
We were told we have to
take
pass
all that money we're going to give you and spend it over here now.
Well, wait till they start shifting the CPA money to the illegal immigrants now too. But let me just wrap this up.
Carry
Well, I
on,
apologize, but
This
I'm
thing-
just, you know,
This
you
thing
noticed, I
just
mean,
can go on forever.
Well, that's the problem.
But it is going to go on forever because they have not
They
implemented
shouldn't lie to
it.
us.
This is a Trojan horse, and it is a deceitful 2.5% tax override without the legislative concurrence, meaning town meeting. We as a town got our thumb stuck into our business by our legislators, and this is the home rule petition that you're talking about, because our home rule petition never accepted that law that was that's on the books that they relied on. The town manager said he has all the authority to impose this fee.
They lied there too.
And then we find out at town meeting that that was false. And he sheepishly, like he has in the past, asked for approval of his actions by the Board of Selectmen, who are asleep at the switch and they don't know what the heck is going on around this town. So, but I have a solution to this whole thing. The whole thing should be, and Ben, if you can throw up
This one here.
the,
right?
yeah, that's the one. Ben, we need our poster up. Defund our bloated town management to fund trash tax costs and save taxes. No new taxes, please. If we eliminate half of the directors that have been assigned and hired and brought in to support this town manager, and a lot of them came in from Lexington, a lot of them have left already, and they have not been very successful in what they wanted to do. But defunding the management team's money, which right now carries over $3.5 million in salaries and wages, not including benefits and support fees that they are assigned. So
They shouldn't do it sneakily, though, the way they did it. It was a sneak thing.
it wasn't the money, it was the method.
Right. But on top of it, too, they don't realize what they're doing. They're ruining this town. By doing that, it's only $200, no question about it. But it's not the $200. It says that people have to go up on their rents now, okay? Now they want affordable housing. How are you going to have affordable housing if you keep going up $800 a year, okay?
Right.
I don't know how anybody can afford it. I don't think everybody... Do you get an $800 raise every year?
No, I'm on
I
a
don't
fixed
either.
income now.
No
all right?
kidding. Me
Oh,
too.
you're a senior citizen?
Yeah.
Oh, well, listen.
I'm on a fixed income, but
No
everything
kidding.
else keeps going up,
No kidding.
especially in this economy. It's
Well-
going up only 9%, so that means my money that I saved is now 9% worthless.
Did you attend the...
We should all sign up for the housing there. They're going to give us a reduced rate on the new building. We all should sign up for it, right?
You got to be poor on their terms, though. You got to
Yeah, I know.
look at their numbers.
You got to get rid of everything.
So what are you
Well,
saying, Mark?
One of the things that I've noticed is that, bless her heart, Sally Kearns set up a meeting with the, the Attorney General's office, and this was in regard to the tax or relief for the seniors, which was held on, I believe, was March 11th as well.
You know something? She does a good job. I got to give her credit. I mean,
And
she's good.
she-
I mean, I got to give
But
her credit.
you know what? I looked at the information that was passed out. It doesn't apply to any one of us.
Well, that's the sad part. You have to be in your underwear before they give you anything.
That's really?
You got to hide your money.
You mean you have underwear?
Wow.
Did I say that?
Well, but bless her
Either that or
heart,
be illegal.
Cut
One of the
that,
two.
cut
she tries so hard. The thing is, she doesn't realize what the economic status of this town is. We are getting punished by the state because we are an affluent community. I believe I was looking through my documentation, and our average income per household is $49,000 a year. So that puts everybody out of these, trigger mechanism for any support. So yes, it may apply to Salem, it may apply to Peabody, it may apply to Boston, but it does not apply
No,
to
not
Danvers.
Wait, what is the cutoff on the circuit breaker?
That's what I'm.
average?
There's an average of $49,000. I
That's
believe.
that. I mean, that's what the circuit breaker is.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the average?
Well,
Okay, never mind. I thought that's what you said.
It's
Okay, I
in-
was gonna
it's
say,
in the
if
same-
the average income in Danvers is $49,000.
and they go by what you're worth too. That's the problem too.
Well, no. Listen. That's the average. Now, our salaries, and I have the documentation from the audit report. That is very informative, and I don't think enough people look at it. But there's a status in Danvers that you have to be in the $20,000 a year
Right.
income level to obtain any support,
Right.
whether it's from housing, for tax relief,
Trash fees.
or even the trash.
Yeah,
You know what we should do is actually file a mass abatement for the trash fee.
They said they were going to anybody that couldn't afford it, but it's like you said, it's a real low bar.
We should all apply for it, because none of us can afford this system, because it's not a tax, it's a fee that they imposed, and the tax was illegal. So, but the citizens petition contemplated. I have, last night, the meeting, selectmen's meeting, there was some good news for a change. Mr. Bennett, of all people, was able to convince the town selectmen that we should put a warrant article on this year's budget hearing, warrant hearing, at town meeting, of addressing the Town Manager Act and update that document that's been out of date since 1994. So the thing is, one of the things that they were talking about last night was to include a every 5-year or every 2-year update,
10 years, they said.
review
10
that
years.
has to happen. Many towns do that. But I have another one that they should be, including in this. Town meeting electronic recording system for the accurate and legitimate votes taken by the town meeting. The past experience has been questionable at times, and the town meeting members have asserted that the electronic system would assure accurate and legitimate votes. If the selectmen do not put a warrant article in, I will put one in.
I think they
But
should.
I will put it in, and the deadline now they've set is they want us to do this very quickly. March 27th.
I think that's what it is, yes.
This warrant article and any warrant article for the annual town meeting only takes 10 signatures, but it has to be filed by noon on the 27th of March.
And you have to have the right terminology on it. If not, you're in
Well,
trouble.
I'll put whatever terminology. Last year I put in 3. I spoke to all 3. All 3 were defeated. But this year, one of them is coming up for action, which is good. That's at least a step forward. Next item, warrant articles need to be advanced to town meeting for action. Selectmen have the opportunity to become leaders. The town charter is long overdue for a reboot. MBTA law, that needs to be imposed by the planning department, needs to be repealed. And the thing is,
Good luck.
well, the thing is that we can sit and complain, but if we don't do anything about it, we're just going to sit and complain.
Need more people. Need a lot of people. to
Well,
do it.
that's
the
where
problem.
the public needs to get involved. Our community needs its own identity and not become a slave to state mandates for the zoning.
No
If
question
the
about it.
state needs more housing, then let them negotiate to fund projects that will make sense for individual communities. 40B has been an issue forever. And now this is a way to circumvent the 40B debates that have been taking place. So they want to do it by law. This law needs to be repealed. And that's where it has to go to the legislative bodies of our community. And that's where Sally Kearns and Joan Lovely come into play. And they're up for re-election, I think. So, elections and the open seats. The only get what we deserve by not having an interest in our elected officials. They do not vote for us, they vote for themselves, whatever action they're in. So, I'm not going to go through the elections. We have contested races in. Jim, you want to go through that quickly?
Well, we got all the town meeting members, but let's see, we'll start with.
6 in each precinct.
Yeah.
Right.
8 in each precinct.
Well, let's go to the school committee. I mean, I checked last Thursday, so today's Wednesday, so this is a week old, but
Oh, yeah.
as far as Alice Campbell and Robin Doherty, they're both the incumbents. They hadn't pulled papers as of Thursday, and so I don't know if they've done it yet. The only one who has pulled papers is Sean Doherty. Okay, and then we've got 3 incumbents running for library trustee, and we have 3 newcomers running for library trustee. So there's a race. You got six people running for 3 seats, and then in the precincts, we've got I got a summary sheet here somewhere. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Precinct 1, precinct 2. Oh yeah, okay. So I mean, again, this is from what do you call it? From Thursday, which would be March.
Which ones have more candidates than not?
Okay, precinct 1 has 8 candidates running for 6 seats.
Good.
We got precinct 2. You got eight people running for 6 seats. Precinct 4, you got 8 people running for 6 seats.
Good.
Precinct 3, there's only 4 people running for 6 seats. Okay, so
There's an opening for guys.
well, a lot of the incumbents haven't done their stuff yet, but okay. So precinct 5, we got 6 for 6. Precinct 6, there's 9 people running for the 6 seats.
Excellent.
And then precinct 7, you got 6 running for 6. And precinct 8, you got 5 people running for 6 seats. And then there's a couple in precinct 6, there's a 1 2-year term, okay, that one person signed up for. And in precinct 8, there's 2 2-year terms open, but only one person's running. So in precinct 8, we're short a lot of people. Everybody in precinct 3, everyone else is either equal or above.
Go back to the selectmen. You missed that one.
Okay, I did.
altogether.
We got four candidates running for 2 slots.
Okay, go through the names, please.
The names in no specific order are not on that page. Okay, we got Matt Duggan, incumbent, Gardner Trask, incumbent, DeRoche, DeJoco, and Mike Bean. Those are the 4 candidates running for selectmen. And then moderator, Pat Frazier has pulled her papers, and she has no competition.
Well, she for 1 year she forgot
1
to
for 1.
get the signatures, and she had to be put in as a write-in. But that's okay. So the thing is that what I just want to reiterate is that we, as a Topics of the Town News, are planning a selectman candidate forum on April 11th. And all of our candidates for the selectmen have been invited, and we're awaiting their acceptance or rejection of our invitation. And we look forward to doing this. Whether one shows up or none show up, we still are going to have the forum because we can make up the information as they go.
We can throw in our 2 cents.
Go. All right. So I went to our infamous all-day Saturday morning till 5:30 in the afternoon.
Thank you for going.
budget review. Well, I'll be honest. I went to the morning one to listen to the introduction by the town manager of a budget that was supposed to have been issued on March 1. It is dated March 1, but no hard copies were available until I went on March 6th to get a copy from his office, and they had to go and print one because nobody had a copy of the budget in hard copy. How on earth do you expect the town meeting members and the Board of Selectmen and the school committee, well, school committee printed their own, so I'll give them credit, to debate or review a budget that they have not seen until that morning?
They want us to go online and print it. They want to save money. They want us to use more money of ours.
Well, this is, Ben, if you can throw up my Einstein quote, I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots. And I think we're on the way because the town hall and the Board of Selectmen are getting so lazy that they do not want to inform the people that are going to be voting on their budget. And this is supposedly their budget, the selectmen's budget, but it's being prepared by the town manager. So that's fine.
I don't want to burst your bubble, Mark, but I mean, I'm technically, even though I am, retired and on a fixed income, technology is, it's like a tool, like anything else. Can be used for good, can be used for evil, and I will say that I try to find some stuff on the website, whether it's the town website, the state website, the federal government,
Or the internet.
It's just, but I did find the budget online very quickly on the Danvers website, and you can. It's an easy. It just pops up, so you can just kind of look at it. And a lot of people, we're the generation that we're used to paper, but.
Yeah, but look at this paper, though.
Don't throw the mic
no!
away.
I did a
at the
left
right end
jab to the mic.
You need a magnifying glass to find that.
I know, but I'm just saying that a lot of people do,
Well, you did
Mark,
not. You did not
in
burst.
conservation, to
Oh,
of the
here
paper.
comes the green.
You should be reimbursed. You should
I
be.
have my green hat. We got a green background, green hat. It's St. Patrick's Day. I got a little green stripe.
You should be reimbursed for that. You should be reimbursed for
I
that.
got a
You should put your
green
bill in.
shirt on. No,
I did go to the
the
town
thing
hall and get a
is
copy,
that
though.
customarily,
Yeah.
the town meeting members for many, many
Right, we'd
years,
have it in the mail.
until about 4 years ago, when the town manager decided not to issue these hard copies to the town meeting members, they are somewhat concerned about it, but they don't seem to care, because how can you expect the town meeting members to go out and vote on something that they haven't seen in writing? And the explanations of the warrant articles this last special town meeting was worthless because it didn't have any explanations, and they were in writing, but they were in writing in secret code because it was all on the internet. But that's my position, and I stick to it.
Okay, I want to go back to your first quote that you read. I'm going to read it again
Go
after
for
you
it.
just said that, and it says, "Unthinking respect for authority is the greatest enemy of truth," and that's what.
This is
Is
the whole
happening.
thing is about.
Well, yeah, I mean, people say that town meeting is a rubber stamp, and basically, unless there's some issue that rises up that everyone, other than that, again, back in the old days, we used to have 30 or 40 people, that would stand up and say no, and you knew that, that people were concerned about
They don't
something.
want that. They don't want that
And
anymore.
now you're lucky if you get 3 or 4 people to say no.
or even say yes.
yeah, well, I mean, to just,
And they got to get rid of that.
People to get
Voice resignation has to go. I'm telling you. I don't know, unless my ears are different than there. I mean, I don't know. Or maybe the moderator up there is hearing something different than we're hearing down the stairs. I don't know.
Tony, I always claimed that I have selective hearing. And that's what the town moderator has.
I think so.
And the
Not to be
legal
funny,
counsel.
You know, I'm not trying to pick on him either, but
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it just seems that way.
All right, let me just give you a
Okay, we're down to a half an hour now.
brief summary of what I was able to gather from the meeting. And I will claim innocence in regard to making any comments in the morning, because I came to listen to what the town manager had to say, and basically he repeated the 4 pages of the introduction to the budget. And one thing that was very interesting is that $12.2 million is the free cash available for their play money for the town hall that they can use on their pet projects. However, we'll get to that in a moment, but that was the most interesting piece. However, the school budgets for both the Danvers school system and the Essex Tech was way over the 5 or 6%. I think Danvers was at 6.41%. $52 million budget? This is with the reduction in students, with the reduction in their ability to educate, they have no avenue to show that we're getting our bang for the buck.
They have to show us MCAS scores going up. If they show them going up and they get the money, that should be great.
I just want to interject that Ronald Reagan came up with a quote that said, "The closest thing to eternal life on earth is a government program," okay? And so if we've been talking about this for decades, okay? And last year the school department had 3 or 4 line items, and I think they have 2 or 3 more line items this year that basically say, we had these grants and they gave us, all this money, but now we have to continue this grant for we have to put it and fund it out of our budget now, okay? So how many of these do we have? How many, when does this end? And you wouldn't mind having this stuff, except for one thing, as to what Tony just said. We're going down. Our standards have gone down. Our academics have gone down. None of this stuff is working. Whatever you're doing, it's not working. So we got to stop. We've already hit the iceberg. So you're going to keep going and rip the whole side off, or you're going to go back and say, "Whoa, what are we actually doing here, folks? We need to stop and go through the budget with a fine-tooth comb and get rid of this crap that ain't working."
Well, my self-inflicted wound has been my attendance at the school department or the school committee meeting of that previous week, when they had a public hearing of the budget that they were going to present, or they have already presented to the town hall. The one thing that surprised the heck out of me is that they voted at that meeting to accept the superintendent's calculation of the budget. But I turned around, there was a box full of the budgets already approved. They were copied already. So there was no public hearing on this thing.
There was no one there.
And that's what I was accused of at the selectmen's hearing on Saturday, is that there was only one individual that showed up to complain about the budget. Well, you have 1 to 27,000 residents in this town, and they are not informed about what's going on. So my biggest complaint at the school committee meeting was that the budget that they have prepared this year is a result of the budget conference committee meetings that they have had to impose the trash fee because at that time the superintendent made a passionate plea for special education. Now, special education has always been funded by this town. But the thing is that over the years, the town has maneuvered or tried to establish a special education program in our school system instead of sending the special education students out to outsourcing. And it's failed. Over the last 25 years, it's failed. The thing is that they don't understand that. They don't know what's going on. So this is a expansion of the special education, but the biggest impact on the budget is your 6 to 7 or 8 teachers that have been funded by ARPA money, or they have their own term, but that's worth $600,000. That's where the increase is. But it was grant funded last year, and this year the grant expires in September. Oh, well, we'll just put it onto the budget because they think they need it, but they haven't thought out the whole process. But that's my position, and I'll stick to it.
And you're right. But here's the point, okay? This town tries to do a lot of things, and a lot of things they do good, okay? Don't get me wrong. But a lot of things they suck at, okay? No question about it. We used to have a hospital, remember? It's gone. We had a landfill. We don't have it anymore. We're leasing it. You follow what I'm getting at? The reason being they couldn't handle it, right? So now they're getting a little bit of money for it instead of getting a lot of money for it. It's not done right. If they don't do it right, they have to. You can't say bring the experts in because it seems like they bring them in too, and that don't work either. So I don't have the answers.
Okay, so that's my morning experience. I did not say one word in the morning because I didn't feel it was worth, even expressing your view at that meeting because everything was predetermined. And the special education parents spoke passionately, and I agree with them. The thing is that we cannot afford to do everything. And they do not seem to understand that. And our town manager, in spreading the money around, doesn't understand it either. So last year they were accused of throwing money at special education. Well, this year they got thrown more money at special education without a definite plan of how the benefit is going to be to the Danvers school system. So that was my morning.
Right, and then it comes right back to the thing again. Remember the dispatch center? We're going to have 3 different towns. We're going to save money. Where is the savings? I haven't seen it yet.
Well, they promised at that time to have 4 seats on the dispatch panel, and they only have 1 of Danvers. And the other towns and communities have basically resigned from that, even a promise. They have Wenham at one time as a promise,
I did hear that.
and that did not happen. And what
Then
did
why
they?
they tell these things and spend the money?
Well, the thing is, because they can, because nobody was
know.
watching the till. And the police department is not at fault.
No.
The town management is at fault because they have no commitments for that funding. Same thing is happening with the IT network and the IT $1 million or more that we're spending on an average in every year. I'm looking into that a little bit more. And I said to my contact that this is not a witch hunt. This is just to explain to the public what the heck is really going on. If there is a benefit from it, hey, let's publicize it. But we're going to end up similar to what the police department did. So the afternoon was interesting because I didn't get there until around 3 o'clock. And by then, the planning department, zoning, and all that was done. And I got in on the DPW. And I made some comments at the DPW budget because there's water, there's electric, there's sewer, there's other, functions, street functions. Well, every time I stood up and made my comment and asked a question for clarification, I got hammered by the town manager because he didn't like my question. I am an agitator. Well, sorry about that, but I will take my lumps. But I need to ask those questions because there are people behind me that do want to know that information. The biggest problem is that this budget and every budget that we have presented is not zero-based estimates. It is just an extraction from last year to this year to make sure you cover the 2.5 increase that is permitted by law. So, are we going to continue generating free cash, which is excess of the budget? So we do not have a balanced budget. We have an unbalanced budget because we want to collect the maximum from our residents in tax revenue.
Until they run out of our money.
No, they'll never run out of our money because
they're getting close, man. I'm telling you. There's not too much more they can go. I'm telling you right now.
Then we should really defund the management team and save that
take a look
tax
at
revenue.
your tax bill. I mean, I'm telling you, I swear to God, it's up there, man. Not to be funny, but I mean, really.
Well, it's funny. It's sad that people complain, and we put out the information. Like I don't know how many times I've posted on the Facebook, which, as God in the Trash would say, it's a it's a morass. Facebook is social media is
propaganda.
It's really pathetic. But I do try to at least post out things like, people, this is happening in your town, so you should probably get involved. And no one, crickets. It's crickets. They'll complain that on the keyboard warriors, we call them, but when it comes to real life, crickets. There's nothing happening. So there's nothing happening.
Well,
there's not much more room, though. I'm telling you right now, there's not much more room there. I don't think there is. They're at 90% evaluation right about now. Is that about right? That's what I would think.
What? We are at 95%.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So how much? You got 5%. How about they start going down? What happens?
There's last year, just to give you an example, last year, the levy capacity was within $250,000 of the maximum that we can collect.
Okay.
And the Finance Committee, in their great wisdom, asked the town manager, how much money is there left in the levy capacity? And he volunteers, says $250,000. So they make a motion to pass that on to the school department and for the special education, but there was no purpose. It wasn't even asked for. So, but that's my position, and I stick to it.
I think they should be voted in, my honest opinion. They should not be handpicked.
Well, that's where you need to address that with the Town Manager Act review.
Not to be funny, because we have to take this town back. Otherwise, we're going to lose it. Not to be funny. I mean, look, I got 46 years into this town, man. I don't want to see it go down the tubes.
Well, it's not going to go down the tubes because I think there is a movement to maybe reinforce it.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to, what's the old saying? Whatever trends start in California go across the country. Okay, so this is where we are right now, people.
We cannot be California.
We are because if you look what California's done, they've implemented all these woke ideas, woke policies, woke leaders, and no conservatives are allowed to be at the table. Okay, and so that's what's happening in California. And you look at what's happening in the big cities in California. That's what's coming here. It's already here. The homeless encampments right in the street, everything else. Well, now Massachusetts is bringing it all in. And every state is suffering from this. Now you even got the, the governor of New York, the governor of Massachusetts, all crying to the federal government. Oh, we need more money. We can't keep up with this.
That's what
It's
they
like,
keep thinking. They keep thinking. They keep giving it out. They're gonna get it.
We've been talking about this for decades and telling people you can't leave these borders open and do all this stuff. Because it has consequences, and now it's all coming home to roost, and it's here, and there was nothing to stop it because the leaders are all stuck in their little ruts, and they're in their echo chambers in their ruts, and they ain't changing.
Well,
No
we
change.
have seen that in our own community here, that they are established for 18 to 20 years. School committee members have been established for 20-some years. And the thing is, nothing's changing because they like it the way it is because nobody's objecting.
This town's lucky for one thing. They have a lot of people that contribute their time and help out and are generous in this town, okay? If there's a problem in this town, believe me, people will stand up and help out. But this is getting ridiculous. They're taking advantage of us. That's the problem.
Well, the conclusion of my budget hearings, I just want to raise this issue, is, as you know, that we have illegal immigrants living in our community in our hotels, and there's a couple of them at least. And the thing is that we do not realize that they're here, but the school department does. School department is in the grasp of $104 per student per day.
Oh, was it more?
104, but
Okay.
there's an entry fee of $1,000 in advance to get them into our school system. They're talking 83 or 80 some students that are living in our hotels and motels in our community.
And you got to hire another teacher to speak a different language?
Well, I was going to ask, but I didn't dare
I know,
because
you can't.
because they are so woke. It's unbelievable. But I was wondering, where does that $104 per day per student go to? Does it go into the school department, and they don't have to report it as part of their expenses?
Maybe. Who knows?
Or does it go into the town budget? I mean, town treasury.
I don't think so.
I don't know where it goes,
Well, that's the
but
thing.
that's what they're counting on.
I know. But they count on it, then what's going to happen is they're going to need it. I don't know. It just seems like we always get in trouble when they take more money or whatever. Just like the same thing with the firefighters. We got, 3 or 4 firefighters right now?
Right.
On the stupid grant, okay? Once the grant's gone, we got to pay for them.
Well, they're going to roll them into their budget,
Right, and I'm not saying...
just like the school department. So those are the unintended consequences of grants, and we should be very careful of whether we accept or reject a grant that our employees in our town are asking for, but all they know is that they're going to get some money. They don't know what the result is of that grant.
All they know is how to give away people's money. That's all they do, okay? The reason being, if they had to work for it or they had to run a business, believe me, I think it would be different, honestly, okay?
Well, they don't know how to run a business.
Well, you're right, though, because even a lot of things, I mean,
Okay.
how many homes have they taken and stuff, okay? That we could have sold and brought money back into the kitty. No, they gave it away for nothing, okay? Do you know what I'm trying to say? They were always putting us at bay.
Well, see, the thing is about our Maple Square development and the zoning changes that are happening. The one thing that they forget to analyze is how much tax revenue have they lost during the time when this is being built? And are you really going to recoup any tax revenue? Because right now we're investing into the streets, the underground, the sidewalks, and everything else. It's not all covered by the developers.
Right, and sometimes they give them a tax break, too. I don't know if that's...
Well, nobody's talking about
no
that
one's talking
yet.
about that. We don't know that.
But Salem just announced for the place where they're going to make the windmills, they're giving them a $52 million tax break that's going to be spread over 20 years. So I don't know how much we're doing, but they don't like to talk about it. So
Well, I saw a little cartoon, little thing that said, it showed the windmills and a couple of dead birds by the windmills, because apparently it's a huge problem with the birds hitting these, getting killed by these things. And a little caption said, had this been, a duck covered in oil and grease, it would have been all of the papers and the end
Right.
of the world is here, but not this kind of injury.
But
or if there was a little
this
fish
time,
in there someplace that was injured.
But you know the problem right now too is, if you notice, what did we see the first three? Gloucester had three. Right now there's only one running. Two are down.
Right. One of them lost wing.
Yeah, lost his
one
wings. I don't know if
time.
they took it off or whatever. I think it's seized. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I guess they're not expensive to. I mean, I don't know. I don't know too much about it. So
Well,
Well, okay. A couple of years ago,
I'm not being
there's
funny.
one town in Texas, right? They went all solar and all wind, solar, all of it. No fossil fuel electricity. They had a storm, and it took months for them to get their electricity
well, that's
back.
true too.
all
See,
you
that's the
need to
thing.
know.
You have to.
There
Well,
is no,
You got to be diverse.
speaking of our $12.2 million free cash that we have accumulated, there's an accounting in there of $3.4 million that they have collected as a fee for dumping semi or somewhat contaminated soils at the dump.
Did hear that.
Landfill, excuse me.
Right, yeah.
I don't want to use the term dump.
Landfill.
I mean, it's so
Right.
derogatory. But the thing is, where does that money go to? There was a $4.4 million loan that was approved by the Board of Selectmen to fund this project. Now, who's paying back the bill? Are we going to be seeing that repayment on debt service? Yes. But where is the money going to? It is another collection of 2.5 override. It is legitimate business. I mean, that's a good try. But face the music, guys. This is a way to get around collecting taxes.
Any money paid to the government is a tax. I don't care what you call it. Fee, permit, whatever. It's, fine. It's a tax. It's a tax. That's all it is.
All right, so the next item, I don't want to go into a lot of items, but Beverly Airport Commission and Beverly Airport update. And this is Tony's and my favorite
Oh, yeah,
subject.
my favorite subject. I was home today listening
And what I want to do is I want to advise our viewers that this afternoon I presented a report on the March 11th Airport Commissioners meeting
and I thank you for doing it.
with very intricate comments because the commissioners meeting is changing, but it's not changing fast enough to accommodate the neighbors.
Yes, they told us they're going to do everything. They've been pacifying us and hoping that they're trying to wait us out and we get weak. That's what they're trying to do, if you ask me.
Well, I have, there are many other issues that have been brought to the commission's attention without resolution. And noise is one.
That's the biggest one.
But the combination of everything that's going on is the issues that have been brought to their attention really revolve around an environmental impact study. If they provide and produce an environmental report that will include noise, jet engine noise.
I love them to do that. They're not going to do it. It's too much money.
Patience is a virtue. Leaded fuel, air emissions, noise emissions, groundwater contamination. That's one of the questions I asked at the budget hearing, and they didn't want to hear anything about it. But they have PFAS, contaminations of one of the wells.
Our health inspector should be looking into that stuff.
And it's getting worse instead of getting better because the state is increasing the limits of how much they can accept. But what they're talking about now is let's just blend it with everything else. It'll be okay.
Yes.
No, it's not going to be okay.
Listen, if they don't get going and do something for us, they have to. They have to take care of us. What I'm going to do, Mark, I'm hoping you can help me with it. We're going to take my decimal meter. We're going to go to the end of the runway. We're going to film it. We're going to put everything on thing, all the decimal readings, everything else, and take it to the Board of Health and turn it into them, okay? And let them work on it, okay? Because the Board of Health does all kinds of stuff. They should be able to help us here, okay?
Yeah, but Board of Health is woke as well.
I know that, but that's the agency that's they got to wake up and do something, man. You know, they work for other things.
We're going to have to get together with Joe Rinaldi as well because he is a proponent for a lot of activity.
What we got to do is put it on film, okay, and with the numbers and everything else.
That's
okay?
fine.
That's what they want.
Joe Rinaldi has been
show it to him.
very involved in identification and tracking these issues. Other airports have succumbed to public pressure, and BVY is now shrinking a little bit. So let's keep the pressure on because it needs to be addressed. And I know that one of the airport commissioners has said that Danvers goes through a elimination of the airport every 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's still here. We are here as well.
Did you notice, Mark? The only ones that complain is Beverly and Wyndham, huh? I mean, Danvers and Wyndham. Beverly never complains. They don't fly in Beverly. That's why. We have to get them to go over there and fly. Maybe if they fly in Beverly and they start making all kinds of noise over there, when the residents start complaining over there, maybe they'll do something.
Well, that's one of the discussions I've had with Peter Eichley, who is the FBO owner, I guess, of the facility at the west side of the airport in Danvers. And I said, why don't you build these hangars on the Beverly side of the airport? Oh, I would have to cut down a lot of trees and all that. I says, well, you're cutting down trees already in Danvers. Why not just move it across the field and build it on the other side? Expand your envelope.
Did you hear what they said? He's talking 90 decimals on those jets that they're going to park there. Can you see what it's going to be like? 90 decimals at the end of Burley Street?
Right.
That is, they promised the town of Danvers 85 decimals would not leave that airport. And they give it to us in writing. Okay, that's the thing. They gave it to us in writing. But find someone that's going to take care of it. You have to go hire a lawyer to do it. That's the problem.
Writing is only as good as the ink.
Oh, the attorney that you get.
All right. Danvers, Wenham, and Beverly deserve a better quality of life without the noise, pollution, and the bureaucracy not responding to our concerns and issues. Gentlemen, we're coming to a close, and I'm going to leave it to you. Final comments, Tony. What do you think?
I love this town, and we got to wake up and take care of it. Otherwise, we're going to lose it.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived in this town my whole life. We used to swim at the, Pope's Landing, and there was like 5 boats in the water. Now you can't even see the river. There's so many boats. But at any rate, progress is progress. There's a lot of good progress. There's a lot of bad progress, okay? And it's, our leaders are the ones that are making these decisions, and you can see what's happening. So,
what color was the water when you swam in it?
Well,
beautiful.
You can walk on the water. Walk on water. That's the way it is. But the thing is, that is an asset that is not being really utilized because it's contaminated. So, one thing we do, we encourage everyone to participate in any selectmen, school committee, forums, and information activities because we need new selectmen. And what I wanted to do is we have one that has participated with the show, Mike Bean. and Mike Bean is running for the Board of Selectmen, and we encourage all of you to go out and vote on May 7th.
Yes, we need new blood.
Thank you very much, Danvers. Good night.
Good night.